Apples of Gold in Settings of Silver. Week 3. Don't eat your seed. 2 Corinthians 9:10. Now may he who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food supply and multiply the seed you have sown and increase the fruits of your righteousness. This is one of my favorite passages in the Bible. It presents our faithful God as one who provides for our needs. Countless times throughout my life, even recently, God has come through with miraculous provision for me. I could probably write a book just on those incidents. But what I want to mention today is the danger of eating our seed and hindering future harvests. I know I've done it. We don't think about the agricultural society of Bible days. If they ate their seed for planting, there was no grocery store down the street to replace it, unless they planted seed during planting season, and unless critical rain came at appropriate times and pests didn't eat their crop. They had no food to eat until the next harvest. That is the backdrop for Psalm 126:6. He who continually goes forth, weeping, bearing seed for sowing, shall doubtless come again with rejoicing, bringing his sheaves with him. I didn't understand this verse for a long time, until I realized this seed was precious because the family had already run out of food. This farmer heard the pitiful cries of his hungry children as he left to plant the last of their meager grain. His heart was broken that he had nothing else to give them to eat. He was planting what might sustain them for a few days or even weeks, but if they ate it, there would be no crop, no future food. Have you ever been there? You have just enough money to pay bills if you don't give God his 10%, but the promise of Malachi 3:10 is that if we give him our tithes and offerings off the top, he will pour out a blessing we can't contain and will rebuke the devourer for us. Or maybe you see someone in need and would like to help, but you don't have any extra. I've been there. Recently, I saw a need, but my account was empty. I prayed, asking God if he would provide so I could bless someone else. Just days later, I was astonished to find a check for $1,000 from an unexpected source, simply marked fun money. I had enough to give and had enough to sustain me too. I read past the seed verses for a long time because it didn't have any great meaning for me. Finally, I realized that in today's culture, we may not need to plant literal seed, but we need to have a dual focus, recognizing today's requirements for finances, but also setting aside or planting for a future harvest. This is true in both physical and spiritual terms. 2 Corinthians 9:8 is very clear. And God is able to make all grace abound toward you, that you always, having all sufficiency in all things, may have an abundance for every good work. The purpose for God's generous provision is that we may have an abundance to give. We are to mirror his generosity. As you make this faith journey, remember to plant the seed God gives you in fertile soil and to only eat what is meant for food. Never eat your seed. Father, please give us the ability to distinguish between seed and food. We don't live in places where we need to literally plant the next crop to survive, but you have promised to give us seed to sow and bread to eat. Give us your wisdom and your generous heart so we stay sensitive to the Holy Spirit in our giving. Pour out your blessing, but don't let us just contain it. Let us be a conduit to pass the blessing on to others. Thank you that you are a generous Father who gives us richly all things to enjoy. We want to be like you. Never stop working in our lives.